I'm going to do something different from what I normally do. Normally what I would do is I would compose and you'd watch me compose. This time I'm going to talk about composition in the past tense, so it's like a composition commentary in a video style. And the piece that I'm looking at is a piece I've got on the screen here. It's a recording. It's called One That Got Away. I didn't come up with that title. I got the words from a poem, and I have the book of poetry here. I'm going to insert another image of this book because you can't really see it. It's called Explore, I think, Xplo, and it's by byrone. The piece I'm looking at is this one here, One That Got Away. I thought what I would do is talk about how I wrote the piece, because there's an inherent connection between poetry and rhythms and words, and I think it can influence music, especially when there's some freedom, as there is with experimental music. It's not a typical song. So I'll just start by looking at the music and then comparing it to the poem. Now, this does not have a score. It's electronic music, kind of, and it has real instruments in it, recorded. It could be performed, I suppose. I composed it in May 2023, and the words are taken from this book. I'll just get the picture of the book up. It's here. Right, so let's just start with listening to the piece. Nearly. I'll start with this then. So if we look at the piece, nearly, full stop, one word, the rhythms are written in there for you. So there we go. And then the next one is the other day I nearly grasped it, to grasp the fact behind the words. You see this? It's like a long sentence and it doesn't have a comma at the end. And normally you'd go, oh, the other day I nearly grasped it. Grasp the fact behind the words, but because the line just runs on, the other day I nearly grasped it, grasped the fact behind the words, and there's this repeated grasped, which I really like. I thought it needs to feel like it's running, almost like busy thoughts are going on, and I think this also fits in with the content of the poem because it's about trying to stop thinking, so it felt like a good contrast to go nearly, pause, and then have this line. Nearly. Let's look at what happens next. Okay, that is the sound of a singing bowl being hit. Ding! I have one. And that's usually what you have with meditation and things. So it felt fitting to have a sound because the piece is all about trying to stop thinking. For less than a blink. So here we go, for less than a blink. So instantly the sound envelope of the singing bowl has been cut short. It's gone for less than a blink. Okay, so this is different because so here I go for less than a blink but owned it. And if you look at the piece, there's no punctuation there, there's just physical space on the page. Okay, next. So this next bit, I was in, it repeats. I've had it kind of ethereally floating quiet. You almost can't hear it, but you can see it on the video because of the text. And I have this cello playing high music that I've added echo to, and the cello line comes from, I think it comes from a solo cello piece that I wrote. I think I used a bit of that was it, and just added a reverby sound effect on it. I'm all for reusing material. I feel like everything original is already a recreation of what's gone before anyway. So if I take my own blatantly, I don't think I'm doing anything different. I'm just very honest about the general process of composing. Anyway, moving on. This is just word painting. I get quiet. I trace out. Trail out. And now the doubt. Here when I go and now the doubt, that stands out as a sentence in itself. Then a trace and now the doubt. I feel like the punctuation is very precise in this piece, so I followed it as much as I could. Then a trace and now the doubt. They're so separate and they're on separate lines, And I feel like And Now the Doubt kind of stands out because it's more like less of a memory of the moment when the narrator stopped thinking the busy thoughts, and more of a now moment, because this is now that we're in the doubt moment now, so it has to be less ethereal, less magical. That's why there's no sounds on it, it's just me going, and now the doubt. And now the doubt. Followed by a cello. And this is newly written for this piece. And the whispering part here is like kind of a foreshadowing for what happens in the second verse. So there's this point where the byrone has written crazy piss, and that hasn't happened yet, but that's kind of like the what's the word? It's almost like the B-roll for what this verse is about. So the verse goes, our minds are rampant emitters under metronomic knuckles, fist-propelling time. Ooh, I love all the consonants in that, it's so good. It sounds metronomic, it's onomatopoeic. And then there's this crazy piss, which is kind of like saying, look at the thing happening. And we're the mesmerised, all of us, it seems, neurons paralysed, with no one left to ensure the rest gets certified. Okay, that's quite funny, isn't it? But I like the sounds of this piece. The first part of this verse is very percussive, and that's why I'm saying the metronome aspect is onomatopoeic, because you can hear the metronome almost in the choice of words the consonants come out. And then the crazy pace is like the B-roll. So I had that coming in first, like a floaty, thinky thing. Does that make sense? And obviously pizzicato, it's just word painting, isn't it? It sounds percussive. It's not metronomic, it's not a regulated rhythm. I've just realised I've been holding the microphone the wrong way around. It's not like word painting in the sense that it's regulated rhythms, but it's the timbre that I'm alluding to, because this verse has percussive words in it. Alright, moving on. Okay, now moving on to the ones with the second half of that verse where the consonants are less percussive. I am disappointed that I didn't really highlight that, because I'm looking at this now going, under metronomic knuckles. Why did I have it so quiet and wishy-washy? I don't like that. I think I should have done that better. I'm sorry. Now this cello piece is from a string quartet that I wrote when I did my PhD, so that's just lifted from that and reordered. I just literally cut it up and reorder it. Then this other sound you're hearing, ding ding, that's me plucking the strings in a grand piano. And this thing that sounds like a drum thing, it's me. I think I'm just putting like a palm on all the strings of the piano, like dum, dum. So to summarise this bit, I'm using pre-recorded recordings of a string quartet I wrote, with me pitsing the inside of a grand piano strings, ding, and then palming it to make it like it gives the illusion of it's not really a bass drum, but it's like a beat, it's like a bass beat there. Okay, this bit, I'm trying to get the piece, this next verse out, but in the style of having crazy thoughts, busy thoughts, because this piece is essentially about remembering a time when one stopped thinking, and you get the moment where you're like, oh, like the light bulb moment, but then you lose it. And then the rest of this piece is just basically a load of crazy thoughts going on about this one time when you stopped having crazy thoughts. So I thought I would do the whole thing as if these were the crazy thoughts. So that's why this bit, I nearly grasped a lip serviced belief, which nearly neatly turned the tables, nearly went beyond repeated words, far beyond a mystical maybe. Oh, that's so good. I get it. The words repeat in the verse. I nearly grasped a lip-serviced belief, which nearly neatly turned the tables, nearly went beyond repeated words, far beyond a mystical maybe. You got alliteration there. So things are repeating even on like a letter level. What's the word? Granular level. There's repetition going on, but then other things are repeating. So the word nearly is repeating. The whole piece is like nearly got it. It starts with the word nearly even. Then you repeat the next sound, which is nearly. It's so good. I can't get over this. And then it goes from the rhythmical rasps of tongue on brittle words. Oh, you could just hear it. Unnoticed, static, unexpectedly sparked. Yeah, I don't think I've done this piece justice at all. Maybe I shall redo this and do it differently. Let's carry on. So this thing I'm doing now, I'm trying to convey the crazy thoughts. From rhythmical rasps of tongue. That is terrible the way I've said that. Look at that. You've got the r repeating, and you've got the spts here, and then you've got the t, and then you brit and does, and you got the spts does. Terrible explanation from me. And then other things repeat, like you've got the tongue, on, words. The whole thing is just timbre arranged across space. Unnoticed, static, unexpectedly sparks. Okay, unnoticed, static, unexpectedly sparked. That is also onomatopoeic. And I word paint it, as you can see, I have some sparking going on. And this, I feel like, I can't remember, I think I got some pre-recorded or found sounds of electricity, light bulbs, that was it. Some filament. This is the original singing bowl, but I've extended it, so it's almost like you're in that mindset moment, whatever, maybe not nothing to do with the mind, maybe when you actually grasp the moment, represented by the rest of the sound envelope of the singing bowl that was cut short earlier when the words "and now the doubt" came in. Some improvisatory piano music coming in, just hitting just notes. However, it's kind of like, what's the word? You've reached this climactic moment, and then it's like, what comes after that? Not the anticlimax. The de-escalation moment, I guess. Maybe. There's just the moment of like, ugh, missed that. Just representing the content of the piece. Oh, we've missed that moment that we nearly grasped. Now we're not there. Yet a portal gave way. Okay, so here we have the portal giving way, the moment where thoughts are stopped and something happens. I don't know. You see God or something. You realise that thing. Your mind is reshaped, whatever it may be. And again, for feebler hopes to soar, you've got more vowels in there than consonants. Well, the consonants are soft because it's none of that percussive stuff that was happening earlier. You got the f's, f's and h's. They're soft consonants, so you can really focus on the vowels. It's the same with the word enough. enough for feebler hopes to soar. I mean, the word soar is more vowel than anything else. But then you've got this hopes and soar, an element of sibilance. It's not a lot, but there's this repeated S sound, which ties in, I think, with the static. It's like the burnout from the static. And I have to pay attention to the punctuation because for the first time in this piece we have hyphens, parentheses, a particle away, a might, no more. And then they're split between the verses. That stands out to me. There's something going on here with that. Why would you split something in parentheses across two verses? Maybe because it's like something gave way, a might, no more. It is a change in thought and mood. Do I do this in the piece? And I just flow it on. This is me knocking on a piano frame, knock knock, with the pedal depressed, the sustain pedal depressed. So here we have the crazy thoughts represented as well. The reason I did this, and I think, yeah, this has to be done like this, is because this last verse has no punctuation. It is like one stream of consciousness. So I'm seeking the way to still waters, and though drawing the line at the lotus, I'm absorbing all they'd likely advise, the short list of the long dead wise, those with the quality kite marks whose fruits have never turned foul. So it's like one big, long, wordy, winded sentence thing, which is kind of like a stream of consciousness. Almost quasi-panicked, but not really panicked. It's more like the thoughts are being put into a long line. It's like a plan of action. But it's ironically worrying because it's the opposite of what the aim of the poem is. The content is about wanting to stop thinking, and it's done in a way that's constantly thinking. It's a contradiction. The desire to be free from the thoughts, but when comprehending that desire, you are doing it with a massive load of solid thoughts. And I do that, and I fade out, and I end with scratching. Or I think I stripped a pencil along some of the piano strings near the back end, like near the tail end of the piano. So there we go. That's that piece. My summary of this is, I could have done it better, and maybe I'll do it again because I don't think I did it justice. I'm seeing more in it, but I don't know if I could recreate it. Like, the words themselves do enough. They don't need me to do anything unless I just emphasized it. Our minds are rampant emitters. Like, even that line there, you've got the repeated m. Our minds are rampant emitters under metronomic knuckles, and then you blend into the and then you get to first propelling to time, and then you get the zzz, crazy pace, and the z and the s, the alternating between z and s. Crazy piss. That's like zzz. It's like a bee. Oh, it's so good. I think this is amazing, this piece. I think the words are better than the music. I don't think I've done the poem justice. So that's me doing a commentary on this piece. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next video, where maybe if you like the commentary style video, I'll do another one. And I think it's useful to do a commentary type thing on your own music, because you can maybe see what you would do differently, like I've just thought now. Bye for now.